Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, before we jump into today's show, which is going to be about Deneric Prince, be honest with me. Did you know who Deneric Prince was before the NFL draft and before the Chiefs signed him as an undrafted free agent? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I'm guessing we're going to get a lot of no's. Well, that's what this video is for. We're going to explore who this guy is and whether or not he's got a shot to make the 53-man roster. What's going on, guys? Harrison Graham here with another episode of the Chiefs Report. Thought I'd do something a little bit different today, just kind of dive into a player who's flying under the radar but has drawn some hype at training camp, and that is Deneric Prince. Could he be a guy that makes this team? Well, he impressed the Chiefs during OTAs and mandatory minicamp. Dave Tobe, special teams coach, compared him to Niall Davis, who was a rotation running back and a special teams ace for years on this team. An excellent kickoff returner. Said he thinks Prince could be that guy. And I think he's got a real shot of making this 53-man roster. Here's more from Tobe back there in minicamp when talking about the UDFA. He says, some guys that are doing really well right now. Deneric Prince looking good as a running back. He reminds me so much of, you guys remember Miles Davis. He reminds me of Niall, even has that same number. He didn't do it in college, talking about being a kickoff returner, but he's showing traits right now that he reminds me so much of Niall that it's kind of scary. And you know, Niall was pretty good for us as he went on, obviously the touchdowns, and so I see him in that role. Does that sound like a guy who's getting cut to you? No, that sounds like a guy who's probably going to be this team's kickoff returner. Now, it's not a guarantee, and obviously if he's on the outside looking in on the roster bubble, they'll have someone else be the kickoff returner. Maybe it's Sky Moore, maybe it's Kadarius Toney, maybe it's someone else. But to me, he's a guy that has impressed a lot early, and he's got the skill set to be someone who can stick around with special teams value and maybe the occasional snap on offense as well. We're going to dive deeper into who Deneric Prince is, kind of talk about his football journey. But first, help me out. We're trying to get to 43,000 subscribers by the start of training camp. We're 426 away. Spread the word. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. Tell a friend, member of Chiefs Kingdom, and let's get to 43,000 in the next few weeks before training camp starts. I would appreciate that very much. And, of course, we're plugging out daily videos, so another reason to subscribe. It's 100% free. So who is Deneric Prince? Well, they signed Prince as an undrafted free agent after the 2023 NFL Draft. I've kind of got a five-prong breakdown of his football journey dating back to high school here. So let's kind of break down the Tulsa alum. He was a three-star recruit from Manvel, Texas, and got some pretty strong offers coming out of high school here. Texas A&M offered, Arkansas, UCLA, Louisville, Purdue, Arizona. Those were the notable kind of Power 5 offers he had. He had a bunch of Group of 5 offers as well. SMU was interested among several others. And he ultimately committed to Texas A&M in 2018 as a three-star. And look, he just got buried there. A&M's had a lot of high-end talent go through there, even though they've kind of underachieved as a college football program for most years. He only had 2 touches in 2 seasons at A&M, and those were both his freshman year. His second year in 2019 didn't see the field at all. So for whatever reason, he just didn't get on the playing field for the Aggies. And, as a three-star guy coming out of high school, obviously A&M's getting a lot of 4 stars, a lot of 5 stars. So he decided to rethink things and consider what he's going to do moving forward. We'll talk about that side of it here in just a second. But Chiefs Kingdom, speaking of the draft, they got Deneric Prince after the draft. We still have plenty of draft hats available, and I think the draft hats this year were some of the sickest ones, which is why I continue to tell you guys about them. Go pick one up today, chatsports.com/ChiefsDraftHats. And sometimes in years past, it's got a bunch of like draft logo and stuff like that, so you're not going to rock that all year round. But this year, this is a hat I'd wear 24/7, 365. You can pick one up for training camp if you're going to be out there in St. Joseph. So get one today. Represent Chiefs Kingdom. Chatsports.com/ChiefsDraftHats. That link will be in the comments and in the description of this video. Represent Chiefs Kingdom today by picking up a brand new hat. Okay, so he left Texas A&M and transferred to Tulsa, where he played the next 3 seasons. And played pretty well. Now, he was never like the only primary back. Like, you look at his numbers here. These are all rushing stats, by the way. It's not like he rushed for 1,200 yards or something like that. 475 in 2020 in 8 games played, averaged 5.5 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns. In 2021, had 524 yards, 5.2 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. 2022, 729 yards, almost 6 yards per carry and 5 touchdowns. Had some minor injury problems, 8 games, 10 games, 8 games, so he missed a few games in each season. But when he got opportunities, he took advantage of them, well over 5 yards per carry during his time at Tulsa. Didn't do a lot as a kickoff returner there, had a few opportunities, but again, Dave Toub believes that he could play that role. I also think he has some value as a pass catcher in this offense too. Now then, you fast forward, he went undrafted in the 2023 NFL Draft, but our draft expert, Tom Downey, and several others, like I know, who's the guy at The Athletic, drawing a blank, Dane Brugler, he had him as a 6th-round grade, so many thought he would get drafted. I thought he would sneak in the 6th or 7th round, but he did not, and the Chiefs made it a priority to sign him. They gave him some guaranteed money, a few $100,000, and brought him in. And I think that was a good decision because he has a good skill set, and he's been impressing with the Kansas City Chiefs since they signed him as an undrafted free agent. He was the main guy who stood out at rookie minicamp just after the draft. He also had a strong OTAs period, and he was very good at mandatory minicamp as well. Andy Reid was talking about him. I mentioned special teams coordinator Dave Toub was talking about him. And so now you look to this season, and with training camp just around the corner, and you look at running back, does Deneric Prince have a spot here? Obviously, Isaiah Pacheco and Jarrett McKinnon, they're locked and loaded. They're going to make this team. That's your 1-2 punch. Pacheco emerged as this team's starter midway through the year last year. I think he's going to have a huge year. McKinnon is excellent in pass protection. He catches the ball well. He's your number 2. He's your scat back. But then you look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They declined his 5th-year option, so he's on the final year of his rookie contract. And you're sitting there and you're saying, is Clyde Edwards-Helaire a better player than Deneric Prince right now? Probably. Obviously, he was a first-round pick, even though he's never lived up to that. But if you're asking me, I would rather keep Deneric Prince over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. CEH is not a part of your future. He's just not. Like, you declined his 5th-year option. Pacheco's the starter. Like, sure, if you want to keep him as an RB3, that's fine, but you could have Prince on a very cheap contract as a UDFA for multiple years here. Whereas CEH, maybe there's an injury elsewhere in camp, and you can flip him for a 6th or 7th round pick. You're certainly not going to get a premium pick for him, but gives him a fresh start, gives you a fresh start, and it kind of allows Deneric Prince to be that number 3 running back. Now, Andy Reid has hinted toward possibly keeping 4 backs because the Chiefs don't have a fullback on the roster this year, so they could go heavier at running back. I definitely think they're going to go heavier at tight end because they're going to have their tight ends play some fullback, but so maybe Prince makes the team as that 4th back, but do not be surprised if Edwards-Helaire either gets traded or even cut if Prince has a better training camp and preseason than he does. So what do you guys think? Will Deneric Prince make the Chiefs' 53-man roster? Type M for make or W for won't. If you listen to how the coaches are talking about him, if he picks up where he left off in the offseason program, I think he's got a really good shot to make this team, especially if he can prove that he can be this team's kickoff returner. All right, guys, appreciate you for tuning in to today's video. If you like today's show, kind of a different type of video, broke down one player, maybe we could do more of this, more player profile type of coverage here. Let us know in the comments. Subscribe as well, and we'll see you guys soon with another Chiefs Report video.